Good morning, good evening, good all the things. Hi, hello, I am Catie Brannon. This is Tea Time True Crime with Catie. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you are fascinated by true crime. But not only that, I really do try to find cases, well, I feel like cases find me, about people and cases that are very obscure, that are not very well known. Now, this case I stumbled upon has been absolutely gut-wrenching, okay? Because I do believe this could have been prevented. I do. And I'm not someone who always blames the police department. I have, friends in blue. I know people in blue. I know people who are in the military, and I have a lot of respect for them. But remember, one bad apple ruins all the good apples. That's how I was raised anyway. And unfortunately, this police department did not act the way they were supposed to, did not do any protocols they were supposed to, and horribly, the family has not received justice. Before I go on any further, I just want to let you know that I have been getting your messages and your concerns about why I haven't done a podcast in a while. A lot of personal matters happened. I'm okay, but it definitely took a toll. And also, my business has been going very, very well. It's pretty much, I feel like it's going to explode. And I'm very happy because I'm training more and more people to show them what I do and how we help many, many families. If you're not sure what I do, I run a business of financial services with financial education, simply concepts that were not taught to us in school, and I really help impact families' lives and also, earning an income. So what is better than that? You're helping people and also earning income. Yeah. So I've been working on that a lot, and I'm going to keep focusing on that because I feel like that is my main purpose. This podcast is a hobby and it is a very big passion of mine. But when I find something that I'm way more passionate about, which I know sounds kind of cruel, it's really not, because I'm actually doing way more impact in financial services, saving families' lives and protecting families. That means the world to me. So my podcast will probably go down to once a month, maybe twice a month. Let me know what you thought about the dark content. Like I said, I do enjoy my podcast, but when I saw that I was doing way well, like really making a difference in people's lives, I tend to stick with that. And this podcast means a lot to me. It really does, you guys. But I am a very small creator. I do not make income on this podcast, which I honestly do not feel right if I do on people's, misery and demise. I really do this podcast just to share awareness and yeah, but with my business and then a death in the family that was sudden out of nowhere, it took a toll. It took a toll. So happy New Year, everybody. It is 2025. I want to know your goals. Let me know in the comments down below. And let's get to it. I'm going to be talking about Mia Marcano. Now, if you guys have not heard of that name, that is because you're not from Florida. Because it seems like the only press that this poor woman got was from Florida and other YouTube channels, which I will link them down below. Explore With Us is one of my favorite YouTube channels. They are the best true crime content out there. I feel they show body cams, they show not even reenactments. I mean, they actually show what is going on in the case. So I will do my best to be a podcaster in my own kind of way with this horrible, horrible case. So Mia Marcano, she was born April 26, 2002. So yes, this beautiful, beautiful lady was a Taurus queen. And if you're wondering, 2002, wow. So she was like, she's young. Exactly. She was very young. We actually found her in 2021, not here on this earth anymore. So she was only 19 years old when she was tragically taken away. Mia grew up in a very loving family background. She was extremely close to her family and friends. When she was born, and of course growing up, she was the light of their lives. Not only her smile would brighten up any room, people loved being around her. She was a model, and it looked like she wanted to go into acting. It's said that she graduated with a liberal arts degree, which is awesome. When I think about that, I think of the arts, hence liberal arts, since perhaps acting. Now, her goal was to be independent, which I feel that is like a lot of 19-year-olds' goal. Now, her father, Marlon, was very apprehensive for her to be out on her own. Now, he even schooled his daughter to do everything he could to keep her safe. Yeah, he did everything right, you guys, but the complex, she did not. Now, Mia worked at the complex, okay? Arden Villas, and that is where she worked. She was there 2 months until she ran into a coworker named Armando Caballero, or however you say his name. Again, I'm not the best at names. You're welcome to do your own research, but Mia, I'm not going to mess that up because she is queen. Okay? Now, Armando, I don't know if it was love at first sight with him, but he grew to have this crazy obsession with Mia, like uncomfortable. Remember I said in the beginning that the father did everything he could to help his daughter? He actually did. He actually had locks on the windows chain. He, made sure she had pepper spray, made sure his daughter was safe. But when someone has the actual keys to her apartment and could go in there at any time, she didn't stand a chance, I'm afraid. So that is why the complex failed her. Now she is working in the complex. She's just trying to live her best life. And then Armando, they start talking. And I do believe that Mia did give out her phone number and, have a friendly conversation, because when you guys start working together, sometimes you go and split food, maybe DoorDash or something like that, because there's a lot of question on why Armando had the phone number in the first place and was wondering why he could contact her. Now, this is my observation, but when you work with someone, you work with them a lot. You spend a lot of time with this person. So you talk with them, you feel comfortable with them. Perhaps you open up with them, but then they show some red flags, and then you back away from them. Unfortunately, Mia did see the red flags. She really did. And she did whatever she could to save her life, but it wasn't enough. Now, she may have told Armando that he was handsome or cute or something, but then was like, I'm not looking for a relationship right now. Like, back off. She's 19 and Armando is 27 years old as a maintenance worker. I'm not dissing maintenance workers, okay? But she just didn't want to be tied down at the time. That's fine. That's definitely normal when you're 19 years old and being independent. Armando, though, with text messages that was found, he did not back off. He got really, really creepy. And, I could see in the text messages, Mia was just like, be chill, be chill. And she did let him down a kind of easy way, honestly. I mean, I know people that would be like, F up, you ugly, or something like that. She was just like, as a friend, that's it. That's it. I mean, I thought that was kind of nice. She said pretty much as a friend. But he got really upset and he was sending her all these messages. Now, when Mia did, she would screenshot these messages and send them to her family and friends. And they're like, what? She's like, what do I do? Like, what do I say? I don't know. Now, this stalking, because he began to stalk her. Now, this case, even though it's closed, they say it's done, it's over. it gets more disturbing. I don't think it's done and closed. Unfortunately, Armando is not here with us today because we want to know what the heck happened to Mia, so her family will have justice, but we will never find that out. One thing we'll find out, though, that there was a gate that was close to her apartment complex, and there was like a hole cut out of it. Weird, right? Not only that, there was some type of lawn chair that was right by the gate. And if you're thinking what I'm thinking, was someone just sitting there and staring at her through the apartment? Yeah, creepy. Very creepy. Now, why I blame the complex? You're probably like, well, what did, maybe, Armando, she gave mixed signals or signs. No, according to text messages, no. It saw in the beginning she was being professional, and then she straight up was like, yo, chill. Chill. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's Gen Z, so I mean, I don't think she's going to be like, shut the F up. A lot of it is like, chill, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, you crazy. She didn't say any of that, but she was very, very scared. And, Armando, she even went to her job and told people, told her coworkers. And it was kind of like a joke in a sick way. So this stalking only lasted 2 months before her life was taken away. Yeah. So you're wondering, why does the police have to blame? Now, I'm going to be really focusing on the investigation. I have a lot written down here, so I'm going to do my best to summarize what I can. Now, September 25th, 2021, she was reported missing. Now, what was supposed to be happening was, this is really sad for the family, but Mia contacted the family and said, hey, can one of you guys stay over for the weekend? And they could not make it. So she decided to go there to Fort Lauderdale, and she was extremely happy. And the family was really excited to see her, but she was not on the plane. Yeah, when the family went to go pick her up and see her off the plane, she never got off the plane. The family immediately had a sick feeling in their gut, and they definitely knew something was wrong. They called her phone over and over. They said it was either turned off, but when they call Mia, they never call more than twice because Mia always picks up the phone. Even when she's busy, she's like, okay, Grandma, I'll call you back. This time, though, there was no answer. There was no more communication from Mia. So that was the 24th, and it took a few hours, actually. It was pretty quick that the family knew something was wrong. I mean, it makes sense. She didn't get off the plane. You contact the police. But the police did not take it seriously. They even were like, can you please go to my cousins or my, daughter, I forgot which family member, but they called the police for a welfare check. Now, the police officer did go and do the welfare check, and while he was there, her cousin Kaylee was there, and she noticed, and of course you can check the body camera, when the police officer was opening the window, he had no gloves on. He had no gloves on. The window was unlocked, which was very, very unusual, because remember when I told you that the father got new locks on the window, so the windows were always locked to keep her safe. But when the police officer went to lift the window, it was unlocked. So that looked extremely suspicious. Now, the family is like, are you going to get any fingerprints? Because usually when there is a missing persons case or any crime that they think has been caused, you get fingerprints. You start to grab evidence, you start to collect it. Nothing was collected. No. Like, it is very frustrating to watch the body camera and just see a police officer with no gloves, no nothing, just, open the window and like, oh, nothing's wrong here. Nope, everything's fine. But, Callie, or Kaylee, sorry if I say your name wrong, she was very, very upset. And she's like, no, something is not right. I know my cousin. Something is extremely wrong. So she goes to Jay, the security guard. And Jay, here's the situation. And he's all like, what? Are you serious? The police are supposed to get fingerprints. And like I said before, they did not. So Jay is a security guard. They actually get into the apartment and they're very, very careful. And it's really awful. Now there's two different stories. Now, the night when they knew that she was missing, the police didn't even make her a missing persons until the whole next day. Now, I don't know if the family went into the apartment complex that night, but they did go in very soon after. It's different miscommunications with this case. That's why it's very frustrating. There's no really state facts. But one thing that is definitely true is no evidence was taken. No fingerprints. That matters. Well, the family did go in and then they saw something like horrific. Well, when they looked in the window themselves in the daytime and not the night, they noticed a bookshelf was against the door, blocking the door. That looks really suspicious. And not only that, there was something that was so chilling to the family. I don't know, Mia, if you can hear me right now. I don't know what our connection is, my darling. But when the family said how much she loved her teddy bear, she had this really adorable teddy bear that she would take everywhere with her, everywhere. Sometimes the teddy bear would even come to work. I think that's kind of cute, and I think it may have helped with anxiety. I love my teddy bear tattoo. And when I was researching this case, I just kept looking at my tattoo, and I'm like, wow, Mia, I get it. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I got my teddy bear tattoo, because it's comfort. When you look at a teddy bear, whether you're 6 years old or 81 years old, a teddy bear brings a smile to someone's face. And when they saw the teddy bear still on the bed, they knew that Mia never left, because she would never leave anywhere without that teddy bear. Not every day she had it on her, but if you're going to be flying on a plane where like anxiety and you're going to be around people, I think you're going to want your teddy bear. I mean, let me know down below if you guys have any comfort items that you bring on a plane that makes you comfortable. Yeah. So it was very chilling. And it's just really weird, because they were just trying to call, and then it's just the lackluster response and the no urgency. It's very, very sad. And the family is very frustrated, and then they're saying things like, oh, well, they're not open till Monday, or something like that, like for the detective. It just seemed, I don't know, like I feel like when someone's missing, you call 911, they get on it. You know what I'm saying? They're like, there's somebody missing, there's families crying, something's wrong. But this did not happen at all in this case. There was definitely crying, but there was police that just didn't treat it right, like in the beginning. I don't know if they didn't know what they were doing. I mean, they didn't know what they were doing, but I'm hoping they were thinking like, oh no, she's just out, everything is fine. But if they did think that, they shouldn't have, because their job is to, find people, save people. Yeah. So when the cousin and Jay, the security guard that she took with her, they're in the room, they found more chilling evidence. They noticed underneath the blue rug in the apartment, there was a box cutter. Yeah. There was also blood on Mia's pillowcase, dried blood. And weirdly, there was a single rose that was in the trash. Very, very suspicious. Very suspicious. And after this all happened, everyone is worried. The actual complex is starting to look for Mia because they're like, something's not right. You won't believe who comes to the family. Armando. Yeah. Armando is saying, what do you say? I've never done nothing bad to Mia, quote unquote. I'm thinking, who are you trying to convince? You know what I'm saying? Who are you trying to convince? Now, the police are, of course, they're still involved, and Armando is there, and the family is just like, oh my gosh, I know you. Like, even though, some of them didn't meet, they remembered when Mia was talking about Armando and how uncomfortable she felt. So the family's like, no, I know you. There were text messages with Mia. And, when the police get your phone records, we will clearly see that. Well, they didn't need to get phone records. They actually had all the screenshots of the text messaging. But horribly, when the police were there, they let Armando go. I know. They let him go. They did not bring him in for questioning, which I could not believe that. I'm like, you have someone missing here. You have this creepazoid saying all these weird text messages. The family is like devastated, like, find my daughter, find my niece, find my cousin. And the police are like, what's going on? Okay. All right. And then they let Armando go. That blew me. I was just like, what? I mean, for me, that's circumstantial evidence. I think that is enough to bring someone inside to question them, And then they started, like, when they started reading the text messages and everything, it was kind of too late. Armando was gone. He left. And so the police finally started to slowly investigate of what's going on. By then, there's a candlelight vigil. There are people from the apartment complex. Not only them, there are people from other cities coming into the apartment complex to help find Mia. Yeah, it was a very touching but devastating sight to see. Now, Armando, this is where they messed up. Now, Armando did have a past. Yes, he did. We all have a past. I'm aware of that. But when you have this kind of past, you should not be hired in an apartment complex to be a maintenance person, to have control of all the apartment keys, to go in however you please. And even though it was an electronic key fob, and when you use each electronic when you use the electric pad, apparently, because this apartment complex was nice. It was gated. I mean, it was pretty nice, honestly. It was really close to the campus where she was at. She didn't quite graduate yet. Forgive me. She graduated high school. That was that picture. But she was, very close to the campus. Now, it was just too late when they get the key fob and they look at everything up and they're like, oh wow, he was in her residence and we don't know why. So let me go back to the past. Armando actually lost his football scholarship because he was setting off fireworks in his dorm. That's a huge traumatic deal. Like, man, when you get a scholarship, like, you don't mess around with that. Now, when they got the key fob and they started looking, and remember I said that he was in her room, he actually accessed her room at 4:30 p.m., 30 minutes before she got home. Yes, you guys, he was lying in wait. He was waiting for her. Because these weeks of the back and forth and her not having the same feelings and her saying, like, chill, man, like, pretty much leave me alone, and getting her friends and family involved, it came to a head. All this tension, all this weird fantasy, it just came to a head. I know I go back and forth, guys. I talk like the Riddler, back and forth. So I'm going to go back to when Armando and the family were talking to the police. Okay? This is very haunting. There are videos online about it, and I just had this straight up chills. Simone is the aunt, and she was actually overhearing when the police department was talking to Armando, and she heard where he lived. Even though he worked for that apartment complex, he lived in a different, I don't know if it was a complex or a home, but he definitely did not live in the complex. He just worked there. Now, so Simone actually heard his address and was like, we need to pretty much stalk him, because the police weren't doing anything. I mean, they showed him text messages, they showed how upset they were, but again, the police were just so lackluster, and I don't know why. I maybe they just didn't understand what they were doing, but then don't be a police officer. I don't know, but the family were not taken seriously, so the family decided to go and investigate themselves. Oh yeah. They went to Armando's apartment. Yeah, he had an apartment. He's in a different complex. Of course he is. So he is in a different complex. Now, the family is watching him and recording him. And horribly, you guys, Armando gets out of the vehicle. He is wearing gloves. He is wearing gloves. And then he is holding a blanket. And you can hear one of the family members in the background, like she is just crying out, "Oh my God, that's my blanket!" You know, like, "Oh my God, I gave her that blanket." And then they called the police. Police didn't come. And then they called him again, and the police finally came. And the police were like, "Hey, you have this quilt or some kind of blanket. The family really wants it back." I mean, again, they treat it like it's like nothing, even though, their daughter's been missing for hours and hours. And it's very weird how this maintenance guy had something for her, but it's not being taken seriously. So weirdly though, Armando lets the family, weirdly lets the family go and search the home. I know. But you guys, it was not even recorded. The family did not find the blanket in Armando's home. They think when Armando drove away for those 10 minutes that he went to discard the blanket and the evidence. Yeah. Clear evidence, you guys. Clear. I just don't get it. Well, when the blanket thing came up and the text messages, and they really started to take it seriously. They're like, okay. So the police go and they realize, all right, so the text messages are weird. You have access to the apartment. Other people are saying he is creepy. There are now other tenants that are complaining on him because he just like knocks on the door, goes in, and he just, or they just find him they find him in their apartment when they come home, and they're wondering, why the hell are you in my apartment? And he's like, I'm just fixing something. Really? Really? Yeah. So Armando, actually, there was an instance where out of nowhere her AC was working, and then it stopped working. Like, she came back to, she left and came back, and then all of a sudden it stopped working. And she realized that Armando was on call, so if she called the after hours number, it would get to Armando. And I want to tell you guys right now, if you ever see me yawn in a podcast, I'm using a lot of energy, and also I have anxiety. Plus, I feel like that I'm talking so much, I'm sucking a lot of air in. So if you hear me hiccup, or I don't think I would ever belch. That's really rude. But if I yawn, I simply can't help it. And there's times where I edit videos and I try to get the yawn out, but then I make these faces that I look like I'm about to yawn, and then I don't. I don't want you guys to be like, is she having a stroke? So I'm just being real. I do yawn sometimes during these podcasts. I'm not bored at any means, and I'm not tired. I'm actually wide awake and alert. I just think it's part of anxiety, and I do think that I'm talking so much that I'm, sucking a lot of air. But yeah, enough about My weird ass, okay? So when Armando is getting rid of the evidence per se, and they notice that it is just piling up because the family's like, hey, look at this, look at that, blah, blah, blah. Finally, the police are like, yeah, we need to arrest him. Yep, we definitely need to arrest him. So they go and arrest Armando, and what do you think, you guys? What do you think happened? Yeah, he's not there anymore. He's gone. Yep, he's not there anymore. And then the evidence just starts to just pile up. They realize that the key fob, he's been going to her apartment. She has been absolutely terrified. She made complaints at work. She made complaints to her family and friends, but nothing was done. Now, if you make complaints at work, or if are a maintenance man and there's a complaint against you, I do believe that, accusations are a huge deal and they can ruin an innocent person's life. Absolutely. But there should have been an investigation. So when there should have was a, excuse me, because during the investigation, he should have not had any, he could not get into her apartment. There is no way that he could do that. But sadly, he did. He had the keys that could, open it at any time. And remember I told you at 4:30 is when he went into her apartment? 30 minutes before she got home? Yes, she got home because I think she knew something bad was going to happen. That's why she wanted her family there with her. So she's thinking, all right, if they're not coming, I'm coming to them. So when she was getting ready and changing, he was in the apartment lying in wait, like I said before. I can't imagine the terror. I can't imagine the horror. Because when her body was found, she was wearing a bra, jeans, and a robe. So she was undressing, and he went right for her. Very, very frustrating. We actually don't know if she was murdered inside of the apartment or he knocked her out, tied her up. I heard tying up, but then I also heard that when she was found, there was black tape on her mouth, around her wrists, around her ankles. So, and there was a box cutter found. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys, I don't want to say predict because poor thing is not here anymore. But one thing I feel in my soul is she was absolutely terrified. Absolutely terrified. And what blows my mind is how fast this came. How fast this stalker became obsessed. And not only that, but also to the point where he had to have her because no one else could. When I brought up the employees working together and DoorDash and everything like that, there are some people that order DoorDash at jobs and people cash app them, for their, I guess, for their part. You know what I'm saying? If someone ordered something and they're like, hey, how much was mine? Here we go, I'm paying for my lunch. I think that's how he got her cash app. But then when he randomly sent her $600, she did not want it. She actually really tried to send it back. She did not want his money. And he explained how, he wanted to use it for dates and gifts for her. But again, she is when you read the text, guys, she is not giving him a time of day. She is just no, chill. But, yeah, the fact is he got her in the end. And we do not know what happened to her. We don't. Police think that she was murdered in the apartment. My husband George believes that if she was murdered in the apartment, there would have been way more blood. And I'm thinking not necessarily, because there was struggle. I mean, there was broken jewelry, there was stuff knocked over, there was simply, there was a struggle. And I believe she fought really hard. I do. So I don't know if he came up behind her like a blitz attack and knocked her out. And then he took her and dragged her out of the windowsill, because police know that her body was dragged out of the window and put into the back of his vehicle. And her body was found October 2nd, 2021. And it was a horrible blow for the community. Because when you look back and look at all these TV news spots, and you just see everybody having hope and praying for her to come home, that doesn't happen. And what's terrifying is that she did what she could and he got her. It's not rare either. When I was researching this case, I actually read a lot of posts from people that maintenance men killed their family members or friends. They became obsessed with them, followed them, and, had access to their apartment. Which I feel, if you are not comfortable with the maintenance man, you contact the apartment complex and they should take away, well, first of all, have an investigation, but while the investigation's happening, is take away the damn key fob. Like, if someone feels unsafe, you're done. Like, you need to be suspended. You don't need to have the keys in your possession at all. I mean, that's what I think. If it's too harsh, let me know down in the comments below. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. But when I said that she was found bound, tape on the mouth, wrists, ankles, and her hair, she was almost in the 4th stage of decomposition, which blows my mind. What that means, guys, I'm not trying to get too graphic here, but when you are in that stage of decomposition, you're almost a skeleton. You're a very, very decomposed. Now, I'm thinking it's the Florida weather, the heat, and her just laying out there in the woods 18 miles away from where she lived. I think being out there for several days, she decomposed. The animals kind of got to her. So when they tried to figure out how she died, it was undetermined, because essentially there was just cartilage, hair, and bone. They couldn't tell if she was strangled. They couldn't tell if, he got the box cutter and sliced her ankles or something. But at the same time, it doesn't make sense because there was no blood on the box cutter. I'm thinking he did a blitz attack behind her and held the box cutter to her neck, to do what he says. And then when he tried to hurt her or, sexually assault her, she fought. She fought back really, really hard, because it's the bangles and bracelets, she was wearing were bent and they were on the ground. So she literally fought for dear life for her life. Yeah, Mia, I am so sorry that happened to you, baby. You just got taken away from this earth way too soon. I cannot imagine what you were feeling. But one thing I can say, Mia, is that you are extremely loved, honey. Absolutely loved by strangers, by people. Now it's getting on YouTube, and I'm sure people around the world are watching this, and you're going to be remembered. So you're not going to die in vain. In fact, your amazing family actually opened a foundation called the Mia Marcano Foundation, and it's to help families. It's a nonprofit organization to help family with missing loved ones. And what they also did as well is they have a law now called the Mia's Law in Florida, which basically protects tenants from apartments for any kind of maintenance worker that does not have easy access to their keys. They're supposed to have a warning now, 24-hour warning before they go into the apartment, and also to have clean background checks before anyone is hired to that apartment. It's going to be taken more strictly, care of more strictly. And I think it's awful that she had to suffer. Again, guys, I don't know exactly how she died. It's very frustrating. The lawyer scared the heck out of us on a news spot where he was cut off, and he was saying that she was kidnapped and she was found days later. He said God knows what was happening to her for days, and no one was helping her. And I'm thinking, good God, man. Like, good God. Like, I understand why the news spot just cut him off. Like, that was rough. Like, I mean, I pray that it was quick. And I pray she didn't suffer. And it's just frustrating because, like, a lot of the time, stalkers and admirers that are creepy and go over the top and are like psychotic, they are not taken seriously until it's too late. Too late. I also read that there is a lawsuit by the family due to the sheriff's office, pretty much suing them for negligence and violating their civil rights, which I do see that happening because they did not take it serious at all. Unfortunately, it just seems like blonde hair, blue eyes gets taken way more serious. And I'm not somebody who wants to spread that kind of stuff, but come on, man. Like, I research a lot and I've seen that time and time again. Treat people how you want to be treated. If you had a loved one missing, it doesn't matter what they look like or where they come from. Wouldn't you want them found? But unfortunately, it seems like cases are just being picked. Or people are so low staff that they have cases that they have no idea what to do with them. So I'm playing devil's advocate here. But in this situation, oh no, there was a lot of screw ups. A lot of screw ups. And the family did sue the complex, and the case was settled. The sum was not disclosed, but it's still ongoing for suing the sheriff department. If you are male or female, non-binary, or however you say who you are, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I will say that we go to the restroom and we all bleed. So we're all human, okay? Now, to protect yourself as a woman or a male against a stalker, get security cameras, because I wouldn't trust the apartment security cameras. I don't care how fancy the complex is. Get yourself security cameras. There are very inexpensive ones that do wonders. When I did Lyft and Uber, I mostly did Lyft. I loved it. I did have a very creepy encounter. It really scared me. And when I came home, I did not tell George, right off the bat. I wanted to hear about his day. And he told me, he's like, I got you a camera for your car. And I started crying. And I said, oh my gosh, how did you know something happened? And he's like, I don't know, but I have it. So I have a camera in the vehicle, and also just there are security cameras that you can put around the apartment complex. Also, go to the complex, tell them exactly who is bothering you. And again, guys, I know people are falsely accused. It happens all the time, but better be safe than sorry. Now, if you're out of town or if you're in the apartment, you can say that I do not want this person to have the keys, which I know maintenance workers, they have the keys. So what I tell women to do is go to the thrift store, buy manly boots and make them really dirty. Seriously, make them really dirty and put them like right by the door or outside the door if they let you do that. So it shows that you're not living alone. Yes. Even though Mia, she did everything she could, the complex just wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry you didn't. And then apparently there were some security cameras that were even broken there. What? Yeah. So get your own security cameras. Make sure you have a gun. Um, Now, we don't want people shooting people willy-nilly, okay? It's awful, but have some kind of protection advice. And if you do feel that something is not right, do not think that, I'm just being paranoid. No, 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 no. We have our gut instinct for a reason. So please, for the love of God, report something, go somewhere else. Do not stay in your apartment. If someone or a maintenance person is making you feel creepy, let someone know ASAP and get out of that complex and go somewhere else. Make sure someone knows where you are at all times, even if it seems kind of inappropriate. If you're on a date or a one-night stand, always make sure someone knows where you are and give them the coordinates. Yes, because you never know. Please stay safe, guys. Stay healthy, all right? And please know that there is someone out there that truly cares about you. Please know that you are loved and you are cherished. And remember, you are doing better than you think. Just want to say thank you very much to the Marcano family and the loved ones of Mia, that if you ever come across this, I literally am doing this just for people to know her name, to know that this could have been prevented, and to know the tragedy. Because I say this to the end, Armando, before the police even got him, he took his own life. Yeah, he hung himself. So he took every question that the Marcanos had to the grave with him. I send peace. I send healing energy. Until next time, stay safe out there, okay? Bye, guys. Happy New Year. Let it be a great year.